So welcome to the KickBack FC. Thank you for joining us once again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Welcome back to the Kickback FC, your go-to spot for unfiltered real talk, all things soccer. Here we've got it all. We're going to be breaking down the biggest moments, hottest takes, and everything you need to stay plugged into the world's game. We'll even tap into some other sports from time to time because if it's big in sports, we've definitely got some thoughts on it. Whether this is your first time rocking with us or you've been tuning in from the jump, I just want to say again, thank you to all our friends and supporters. Once again, my name is Cornelius. I'm here and joined with my boys and fellow co-hosts. Mike, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great today. Chelsea came up with a result that I'm not necessarily mad about. So I'm not feeling too bad. All my teams won this weekend. Yeah, staying in, staying warm. How you feeling, Gabriel?
Feel good, man. Had a hope you guys had a well, I know Chris did, but I was with him. But Mike, I hope you had a good holiday. Definitely had a great Thanksgiving. Had a little gender reveal at ours. So yeah, Chris and I'll be uncles here soon. Which is really
Congrats.
really exciting. But yeah, man, I can't complain too much. Chris, how you been?
Good. Just to echo, I hope everyone did have a good, safe holiday with Thanksgiving just a few days ago. Yeah, ours was, exciting to say the least. But uh, yeah, we're getting into the time of the year where there's going to be a lot of games all over the place. We have AFCON coming up here in a in just 3-4 weeks. We have Premier League. We have the Carabao Cup. Teams are going to be playing 2 times a week, sometimes 3 times a week here in December. So it's we're going to have a lot of football in this last month of the year. But I actually wanted to start it somewhere. We didn't have this on our agenda, but it's something that's been cool for me just to watch kind of in the background. So there's Lampard has had his fair share of chances to be in the Premier League, and now we know he's currently at Coventry. But Coventry have only lost one league game this season and lead the championship after this was last week, but 16 rounds of matches. They're 7 points clear of whoever is in second place. You got to remember, this team was fighting relegation last year when Frank took over, and he's essentially undefeated since he's taken over that team. He was able to bring them to mid-table last year, and now this 2025-2026 season, they are undefeated through 17 matches. So I wanted to shout them out. And then I also wanted to talk about a team that, we did kind of speak about at the beginning of the year, but, just wanted to pose a question to y'all. So right now in the championship, if you look at the standings, Wrexham is a little bit higher than I think we all thought. They're currently in ninth place, sitting on 6 points or 26 points. I'm sorry, with 8 wins or 6 wins, 8 draws, and 4 losses. They currently are just 3 points outside of that sixth place spot. I know it's still early in the season, but as you know, the championship, the first two teams on the table automatically get promoted to the Premier League the following year. And then teams 3 through 6 go through a playoff where three plays a six team and four plays a five until they, reach two final teams to get that third team to get promoted. So right now, Wrexham sits in ninth place, sorry, 3 points behind that sixth place spot. I know it's still early. We're 16, 17, 18 matches in here in the championship. A lot of teams have played different amount of games just based on the schedule, but about a third of the way through the season for them. How do y'all feel about, the possibility of Wrexham maybe even getting that sixth spot for that play in? Do you think it's something that they're shooting for this year? Because I mean they're basically there right now.
I mean, I think that's something they should shoot for. If I'm being honest, bro, they've blown out of. You said, I mean, eight draws. I've watched some of Wrexham this year. They've blown 2-0 leads multiple times this year. Or just being up by 2 goals, 3-1. I've seen them blow a 3-1 lead, draw 3-3, I think twice this year. So yeah, I think, obviously they're new to the championship. For them being in this position, they're doing extremely well. But yeah, no, I think a playoff spot is definitely should be their goal for the year. I don't think they should really just shoot for top of the table or mid table or top half of the table. but I really think they should shoot for the 6th place at bare minimum, because they have the quality to get a playoff spot. Just from watching them this year, they definitely have the quality. Will they get to the Prem? Who knows? And even if they do get to the Prem, I think they're getting smacked right back down. But at the end of the day, I do think this is a team that can at least fight for that last playoff spot. Like I said, they're only 3 points off, and if they're able to clean up some of the just the lack of focus that their team has sometimes in these pivotal moments, especially at the end of the match, I definitely think they can get there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for it being their first season in the championship, I think they're doing pretty well. I personally would love to see them spend 1 year at least in the championship before they move on.
Why?
But because I still don't think they're seasoned enough or ready for the Prem. I think staying in the championship can, help them, boost up a little bit before they
Mike,
get to
even
the
if they
level
come
of the
next,
Prem.
even if they come next year, bro. Let's say they don't make it. Let's say they don't make it this year, and for the let's say what is that going to be, the 26-27 season or the 27? Let's say for the 27-28 season, they make it to the Prem. Bro, they're getting smacked right back down. Like I don't think a year difference is going to make them more seasoned for the Prem. If I'm being honest, just me personally. But I don't know.
Well, I just think they're too new. I know they've been jumping through the divisions in the last couple of years, so I'm thinking a big jump from just getting to the championship and making it to the Prem, that would be crazy. But I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think they'll be able to stay in the Prem. But I think they're doing very well. I like the story. It seems to be improving every year, and I would like to see them build in the championship.
I feel like those are both good points. I'm kind of with Gabriel. For me, this is a team I've been following ever since they had their two, superstar celebrity American owners, just because I was very curious on how that was going to go. We always talk about American ownership in football, and sometimes it goes great, sometimes it doesn't. Speaking from experience, Chelsea has definitely gone through its ups and downs, but with a team like this, when I look at their record in their last 8 championship matches, they've gone 4 wins and 4 draws, and kind of like what Gabriel said, some of those draws were good draws and some of those draws were matches that they easily could have won. And, they kind of slipped in the end. But currently right now, sitting on 26 points in 9th place, I think, this is where you want to be in December. This is where you want to be in January, just right outside of that striking zone. And with them, I think it's just, can they continue to build on what they've done this first half of the season for me? If they can continue to build, even if they do fall short, I think this is a good stepping stone for them. Mike, like you said, the last 2 years they've been promoted from League 2 to League 1 and then now League 1 to Championship. So this is definitely a team that's ambitious. You feel me? Like, this is definitely a team that clearly has goals on making it to the Premier League. And like Gabriel said, I feel like they definitely aren't that strong of a side. Like, we're looking at Wolves right now. This team just clearly isn't good enough for the Prem. Sometimes you need to get to the Prem to realize what the difference is. But, we also look at a team like Burnley or Sunderland. Obviously, those are Premier League staples from the past, but they, once they got that Premier League bid, they just bought players. Nottingham Forest bought players, so obviously they have a bankroll. This team went from like 1 million, as a team to 100 million or whatever, their team valuation is now. So they're figuring it out. These young American owners are figuring it out, but I think that they are ambitious. So for me, I'm just going to continue to watch them. I think they can get a top 6 spot. I really do. If you're able to be this high on the table, halfway through the season, a third of the way through the season, on your first go around at this, or your first go around, with this new ownership group, this shows me that they're not really scared, And so I feel like if they can just continue to build on what this is, maybe they go make a signing in January. We still don't know what happens next year, but I think that this team will get top 6. I really do. they got knocked out of the Carabao Cup, so this is a team that really only has to worry about the league. They might still be in the FA Cup, I'm not sure, but with the FA Cup now, I'm not exactly sure where that's going on. But yeah, no, this is a team that I feel like definitely is going to be ambitious, and I think they're going to make a top 6 spot at the end of the year. If they make it to the Prem this year, I don't know. I was saying in the beginning of the year before the league started that they had a good chance, but just looking at some of their matches, I'm with Gabriel. I feel like they're still a little bit too up and down. They need a little bit more consistency if this is a team that really wants to go and make it to the top level in England. But I just wanted to shout them out because right now they look good, man. They look good. Again, 6 wins, 8 draws, 4 losses. I feel like 2 or 3 of those draws could have been wins, and a few also could have been losses. But 26 points, they're +3 on goal differential. They've only allowed 20, and that's not bad. 20 goals through 18 matches for a newly promoted side. It's pretty good, to be honest. So just wanted to shout them out a little bit, and also shout out Coventry because, 13 wins, 4 draws, and 1 loss, and funny enough, their only losses to Wrexham. So if Wrexham can be the number 1 team in the league, they should be able to, set their sights on making that top 6. So just wanted to shout out those 2 teams. Shout out Frank Lampard, former Chelsea players and Chelsea coach as well. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of what we want to talk about this week. Starting in the U.S., actually, we want to talk a little bit about the MLS playoffs, man. Last week, we had some predictions for the quarterfinals and who would be moving forward to the semifinals, or not the semifinals, I guess the Eastern Conference playoffs and the Western Conference finals. So let's talk about the East, since we're East Siders. Miami versus NYCFC. That was a massacre. 5-1. Messi didn't, Messi was Messi, but he didn't really steal the spotlight today. It was, his teammate who got the hat trick, and this team kind of just steamrolled over New York City. Is this what we expected? I know last week we didn't truly expect New York to get battered like this, but I think we all 3 kind of expected Miami to go through. Gabriel was like, yeah, Messi's on a mission. So, is this something, is 5-1 what we expected, or was this just Miami showing kind of where they are right now?
Nah, 5-1's OD. I didn't expect 5-1, but like I think 2 things are true. I think Miami is just in their element right now. Like I said, Messi is in a zone right now. All he's seeing is red when he's on the pitch. He sees everything. I don't know how he's able to see it, bro, but he sees everything. And yeah, I mean his teammate Ande, I think I say pronounce his last name. But hat trick, like you said, Messi really didn't overshadow. It was really his day, and yeah, 5-1 is. Yeah, it just goes to show this kind of where this team at and what type of mission that they're on, and I just fear. I mean, going into it, I love the final. Vancouver and Inter Miami. I think these are clearly two of the best teams in the MLS. And I think it'll be an amazing match because not only are they very, very good teams, but they know how to score goals, both teams. So I truly expect like just a lot of goals in that final, or maybe not a whole lot of goals, but good goals, good quality goals. But yeah, man, keep it on Miami. I saw this win coming. Didn't think it was going to be this big, but I think NYFC should be proud of their season and what they accomplished at the end of the day. But this is Miami's year. I fully believe it.
Yeah, 5-1 wasn't what everybody was expecting. I wasn't expecting it. First of all, I didn't even expect NYFC to be there. Philly was my choice when we were recording last week. I believe they were up 1-0, ended up 1-0. So they ended up moving on. But to be beating NYCFC 5-1 at this point of the season, it tells you about, the job NYCFC did to be in the position that they were. Miami is clearly the favorites in that spot. And even though 5-1 is surprising, it's not surprising at the same time. So coming out of the East, Miami being the strongest team, I kind of like it. I kind of agree with it. Throughout the season, they have been one of the favorites. You could say FC Cincinnati should be in this position, but obviously they didn't take care of business with Miami at home. So yeah, I think I like the position Miami's in. Even though Messi didn't have his fingerprints on this game like he did the last game. I mean, he still had an assist here, but I don't know, man. I think we're set up for a good final, so I can't complain.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, again, just wanted to shout out their hat trick from Tadeo Alande, I believe is how you pronounce his name. It's funny because I saw on Twitter actually after their match, the Inter Miami fan page, like they have like a verified fan page on Twitter. They had one of those. Y'all probably seen it in the NBA, but they have those apology sheets, where they say, I want you to sign my apology sheet because we didn't know your game, and the Miami fan group was like, we'll be the first people to sign this because we were unfamiliar with your game. I think this is a coming out party for him. So just wanted to give him the shout out. Obviously 3 goals on the day out of their 5. Miami just steamrolled NYCFC. But like Mike said, I think they should hold their heads high. Selam was talking about this New York team, right at the end of the regular season saying, this New York team has a little bit of momentum. They're winning the right games. They're just qualifying, but they have a lot of momentum right now. And this could be a team that's dangerous. So shout out to New York for their season, but Miami, just like you guys said, this is a team that knows how to score goals. And they're running into a Vancouver team that also knows how to score goals. 3 goals in the first half. They kind of deaded the game in the first half. Brian White, with the brace. I mean, this Vancouver team is just balling right now. They've been one of the teams that we've talked about on the West Coast all year. And we've also been talking about this San Diego team, and for them to go out like that at home, only being able to score 1 goal. And that goal came in the second half, an hour in. But even after that goal from Chucky Lozano, they weren't really able to capitalize and, push forward to get that second. Ended up getting a red card in like the 80th minute. And from there, the game was officially over. But I want to ask y'all, do you think that Irving Lozano should have gotten more time in this match? Because while we were watching it, the announcers were saying this is, kind of like your franchise player. And for him to not start in this match, kind of telling. So obviously going down 3-0 in the first half, you need to throw everything at the wall to hopefully, come back in this match, especially at home. You would think that San Diego would have played a little bit better in that first half. But do you think that has something to do with Irving Lozano not playing? And was that surprising that he didn't get to start in, such of an important marquee match?
Yeah, for me, I think for them to go away from what they've been doing all year, I think the manager was overthinking it in that spot. Chucky has been their best player. I think he's been the leader of this attack. He's pretty much seen them through this season. And for him to not start in this game, I don't know if it affected, how they performed, but I think a player like him, especially with his experience, not starting him in this spot is very questionable. I wonder, what the reason was behind that. Because, I mean, what are you saving him for? I don't understand. Like, what is the strategy behind waiting and bringing him on later on? Maybe you're bringing him on for the tired legs. I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me. I think they went away from, what they've been doing all year. Should have stuck with the plan. Just do what you've been doing all year.
I agree. Your best player should be starting your biggest matches unless they're injured, or they're not available, or they can only give 30 minutes or so. So, yeah, I think just too much tinkering. And like I said, or like Kenoi said earlier, the ability, the Vancouver's ability to score goals. If you can't match that, good luck beating them. So, honestly, I think this was this was a deserved result by Vancouver. Like I said, man, this final should be fireworks come this next weekend. Truly should be fireworks. So.
Yeah, I also think Vancouver's been waiting for San Diego. I mean, San Diego is an expansion team. For them to even make it to the semis it's crazy to me. I think they've had a great season. I mean, if you're a San Diego fan, I mean, I know this is their first year, but if you're a San Diego fan, you can be proud of this season. I mean, there's a lot of hope on the horizon just from what they did this year, especially just it being their first year. So I don't think they should be too disappointed. But I also believe that Vancouver's been ready all year. They've been waiting for them. They knew they were probably going to run into them. So I think Vancouver was just ready. They're more seasoned. They have more experience on their team. And I think that's what it came down to.
Yeah, good analysis. Like Gabriel said, this final is going to be fireworks. Both teams with high-powered offenses. It's going to be sad not seeing what Andres Dreyer and Chucky Lozano can do in a final, but shout out to their season as an expansion team, and shout out to the teams that took a chance, or the players that took a chance to go over to San Diego. Obviously they get players from the drafts, but they also get San Diego got to handpick players from other teams, and to get handpicked is good, but you also have to agree. So for them to want to agree to go over to the San Diego team and embark on a new chapter with a new club, I think it's huge. San Diego definitely cemented themselves this year as one of those teams that's going to be a tough match, whether it's home or away. But, when you're playing at that San Diego stadium, just the environment, just the vibes, they're bringing something that's really good for the league, I think. And, for any other expansion team out there, I think that San Diego right now is a blueprint on how you want to start. Not every team is going to be able to go this far in their first year, but clearly they did something right, based on how they've done this first season. So definitely shout out to San Diego, the whole organization over there. They're building something huge, and it's been fun to watch this year. That's for sure. But yeah, man, MLS playoffs next week. We will be, what's y'all predictions? Who y'all got? Miami or Vancouver?
Miami.
I'm going Vancouver. I know Miami is on a tear right now, but I almost feel like it's Vancouver's year, so I'm going Vancouver.
I want to lean Vancouver too, man. I've been rocking with this team since the beginning. As an Ohio boy, I'm still a little bitter that Miami smacked up Cincinnati the way they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I might have to run with Vancouver. Who would have thought that in 2025 we'd be seeing Thomas Mueller versus Lionel Messi in a MLS final?
It's crazy. MLS Cup final.
Kind of crazy that we're going to see these guys that we've seen battle it out in Europe for Bayern and Barca over in the MLS kind of doing it again. This kind of just shows, how great they are, back in another final, both of these guys. So it's I'm gonna rock with Vancouver for this final, but I think it's gonna be crazy too. But yeah, good talk about the US. Let's hop over the pond and talk about our Premier League teams, man. Our boys, let's talk a team that's been the talk of the town. They haven't, found much favor in the Premier League. Gabriel almost went West Ham on his luck, but I think something told him not to. Liverpool finally getting their win. Isak finally getting his first goal for Liverpool. 2-0 win today. Liverpool, how do we feel about them, and do we think that this win is going to, hopefully change things around for them?
No.
Why?
It should, but that was more than a blip than what we just saw. These past 6-7 weeks of Liverpool, this past month and a half of Liverpool, I think that's more than a blip. I don't think that they just continue and just hit this 10 match unbeaten streak. I don't think that this is that Liverpool right now. I still think there are holes in this team. Obviously, Arnie Slot is listening to our pod because I told him to play Joe Gomez in the back line to give them some defensive stability for the first time all season. And guess what happened? They had a clean sheet and they got 2 goals. So shout out to you, Arnie, for tapping in with the kickback. We would love to have you on at some point. But yeah, no, I think that was more than just a blip. Obviously, I think with Joe Gomez being in the lineup, yeah, this team automatically gets a little bit more difficult to beat. I think people were dunking on Connor Bradley and Frimpong to start the season. And honestly, I'm still a little surprised that Kirkhead is still starting right now. But there's more defensive stability. Wirtz actually had a very, very good match today. I don't know if anyone watched, but Wirtz played extremely well. He showed that, the class is still there. He's just having a tough time to adjusting, and great for Isak to get his first goal. But no, I think come next week when they play Sunderland at home, I think it's going to be very tough for them still. I don't – they may get a win, yes, but I don't foresee them going on this unbeaten streak. I still think this is a very, very beatable team. They do have some favorable matchups coming up, but more than a blip. More than a blip for me.
For me, I would just say it just happens to be who was on their schedule, and it happened to be West Ham. they got a break because it was West Ham. Because I thought, midweek, there's no way, but I was wrong. West Ham just have shown us this season they're just not that good. But hey, kudos to them. You can only play who's on your schedule. West Ham was next. They took care of business. Hopefully, they can build on this win from here on out. But like Gabriel, I'm not confident. I want to see it before I jump behind this turnaround. But I think it just happens to be who was on the schedule. It was just West Ham. They got the win. Hopefully, they can continue winning after this. But am I confident? I don't know. I'll just have to see it.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, I do want to say Wirtz did have a good game, and I think that should be motivating for that Liverpool side, because with their issues right now, obviously they didn't start Salah today, so they're starting to tinker things around and try to figure out what the best 11 for them is right now. I think you need Wirtz to get going. You need him to play at an 8 out of 10 most matches for this team to start looking like the Liverpool that we know of. But like Mike said, you play who's on your schedule, and sometimes you need a win to kickstart another win, and then another win, and then another win. This team has really not seen many wins in the last month, whether it's been in the Prem or in Europe. So for them, I think that just getting one under your belt away, especially with a clean sheet, we're starting to see Alisson back. That's huge for them as well. They haven't had their starting keeper, so things are starting to fall into place for them. Again, this win wasn't much for me, but it did show me that they can win games. Like they didn't play the best. It was not the best looking match, but they had a lot of chances. I think Wirtz even had a chance to score early in the match. So just seeing them get, more chances and actually shooting on goal for me I'm going to keep looking at this Liverpool team with respect, just because they are the league leaders, currently back in 8th place on the table. So they're really not that far out of it. Aston Villa right now has 24 points. They sit in 4th place. Liverpool is sitting on 21 points. So they're only 3 points out of the top 4 right now.
Couple of wins.
Yeah, and we kind of said this about City last year too. We kind of forgot about them. They're flying under the radar, and then they end up in 2nd place at the end of the year. So for me, it's just continuing to see how they go week by week, because this Isak Ketike project is still, they're still in the beginning phases of how we gonna make this work. So good to see Isak get his goal, I guess. But I don't really want him firing too much, because needs to continue to be on the path we're on. But good for them. A big win for Liverpool, and definitely a win that they needed. Another team that desperately needed a win to continue the decent run of form that they've been on, Manchester United. 2-1 this week. Big win for them. huge goals from Joshua Zirkzee, who, last week played his first game coming back from injury. And then Mason Mount, who's been in and out of the lineup. I wish Selam was here because I think this was a Mount game. I think this was a game where, you do play Mason Mount. And I think the goal that he got was just, off the set piece. But it just goes to show what he can do on a pitch. Like I said, he's a technical player. He can do right foot, left foot. He's not going to be the most creative player, but he's going to be able to give you the fundamentals. He's going to be able to make a 5-yard pass and a 15-yard pass. He's going to run all over the pitch, and he's going to be able to be that utility guy for you. This wasn't the most pretty win for United, and, they can call it what it is, but they're still in the top 7, one spot above Liverpool right now in the Premier League table. I think right where they would want to be, all things considered, especially after how they started. But this Manchester United team, do we see them starting to build some sort of rhythm, some sort of momentum, or do we think this is just another one of those wins where they were lucky to escape with a dub?
They were lucky to escape with a dub. You watch the match, bro. Crystal Palace should have put this match away in the first half. Mateta missed the 1v. Luckily, he got the PK a couple minutes later. They had a couple guys who had chances early in the match, even before what's the name? United scored. Even before they got the equalizing goal, they had chances. Go up 2-0, go up 2-1. Never took them. Never did. Nah. United got away with one today. Kudos to them. Kudos to them. They were able to get a win today. But I think if I'm Crystal Palace, I'm looking at our performance and saying this is not a team that should have come in our house and beat us. Not especially not the way that they've been playing. Absolutely not. Kudos to United. Can't take anything away from them, but no, Crystal Palace definitely they definitely shot themselves in the foot this week.
No, yeah, I agree with you. They're definitely going to look back and think, yeah, this team shouldn't have beaten us in our home ground. I mean, I picked them on my lock of the week because United, usually has problems with Crystal Palace. They usually struggle against Crystal Palace, and I know I said it in the group chat that I'm calling match fixing because I don't think they should have won this game, and somehow they pulled off a 2-1 win. These are some of the games and the wins that you need. Sometimes you need games to go your way that necessarily shouldn't have gone your way. And for United, I think they're building on these, wins and draws and positive results that they've been getting, recently. If this was last season, do they even score a second goal? Who knows? Selam might not be happy. He might not think that, this is real progress, but in a funny way, how football works, man, sometimes you need to see these wins. And they saw another positive result, and it builds confidence. So even though it wasn't pretty, if I'm a United fan, I'm excited because there was fifth now, sixth or fifth. I'm not sure, but they're right there in a European spot. So seventh, yeah. Whether you like it or not, man, this is progress. Especially if you're comparing it to last season. It's not, the prettiest progress you want to see, but it's still progress to me.
I hear you, Mike. I just look at the table and a drop from what? It's from 7th to 15th is 4 points. I'm not trusting it, bro. I'm like in 3 weeks we can see this United team 12. They got this win. Congrats to them. And honestly, they have a favorable couple matches coming up with it. I think they play West Ham next week. The week after that, I think it's Wolves away. So it's like favorable matches, for being completely honest. But will they do it? I've seen this United team be horrendous. And, we'll see. I hope they can do it. I mean, I don't. But, we'll see if they can do it.
Yeah, I'm with Mike. This is progress in their last 7 matches, 4 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. based on how they started the year, you wouldn't think that they would be in the top 7 spots, European spot right now. And whether it's ugly or not, like Mike said, you need some of them wins that you shouldn't necessarily win. You need some of those, and that's when we talk about luck factor. Every team has that a little bit of luck factor. I feel like in the last few years, United has all been on the wrong side of luck. And once you start piecing things together, sometimes luck starts turning your way. And so, we can look at teams like Liverpool. Gabriel in the beginning of the year said, yo, your luck's going to run out real quick and you're going to have to start winning these games the old-fashioned way. And I think that's where they are in the season. They found that their luck ran out and they have to start winning games the old-fashioned way. Like this 2-0 win today, I feel like I said before, it wasn't pretty, but they got the 2 goals. Isak finally got his first goal. That little bit of, that burden on his shoulder is now gone. I feel like the fans kind of have been a little bit patient with him just because they know of his quality. But if this was any other club, we'd be looking at him like, bro, what are you doing? And so shout out to the Liverpool fan base, at least, for even being, so patient with him. But when you look at this United team, I feel like the same thing. Their fan base has been patient with Amorim. Last year he didn't have the best 6 months. And then now you're coming into a year where he didn't start the greatest, but their team has started to pick up the pieces and figure themselves out. So shout out to United for, this win. Like I said, the only loss in the last 7 matches has been to Everton. And I feel like if you talk to any United fan, they probably want that game back. So I think that this United team has a lot of positives to look forward to, but going into this December, I feel like we're really going to see exactly who they are. Can they keep this consistency? Can they keep up, this level of play, especially with AFCON around the corner? They're going to be losing a few players in Ahmad and in Buemo. So let's see what, this United team can do. And I think it's good that they're actually getting players rotated and they're actually starting to see players come back. So this is a good spot for United for sure. I feel like they're in a good spot, but might as well get into the meat and potatoes, the real McCoy, the game that everybody's been looking forward to all week, the 1 versus the 2 in the Prem. Funny enough, it's only Chelsea and Arsenal fans on here tonight, I have 2 main takeaways before, I open the floor, and whether Mike wants to go first or Gabriel wants to go first, it's, we drew, so it doesn't really matter who goes first, but I had 2 big takeaways from today's match. The first one is he was going to be my shout out, but I'm just going to say it now. Reece James, 12 out of 10 performance. 12 out of 10 performance. I was saying it, Gabe and I watched the match together. We were pretty. It was pretty like we were talking, but not to each other. We're more so screaming at the TV every now and then. But it was pretty silent because it was a cagey match to start. 3 yellow cards in the first 10 minutes of the match. Gabriel had 3 defenders on yellow cards in the first half. We had, it looked not great on our side either. But my first takeaway, Reece James, 12 out of 10 performance today. From the very first blow of the whistle, he just commanded respect on the pitch. He started as a center mid, but his presence was felt all over. He was playing right back at certain points. He was playing center back at certain points. He was playing outside winger at certain points. I feel like Maresca gave him the free range to just play wherever he needed to be, especially when we went down a man. I don't really want to harp too much on the Caicedo red card because it was a red card. Terrible tackle. Reckless, wasn't thinking. You saw Marino get to trap the ball and then pass the ball, and you're still lunging in at full speed. It's just a bonehead mistake, and I don't really want to harp too much on it because that's not something I want to keep talking about, our red card issues. But even after that, the way that Reece James was commanding the pitch, bro. I mean, there were times where I think it was like the 70th or 73rd minute. Arsenal had a free kick. He's over here talking to the back line, telling them how to line up. Malo Gusto's looking at him. He's like, no, switch your position. Even going up when we're taking free kicks, he's, telling them how to take free kicks. He's telling them where to place the ball. Our only goal, the assist, who had it? Reece James off a corner kick. I mean, this is I feel like what Chelsea players be talking about when we say if Reece James is healthy, he's the best right back in the world. This is the performance where whether or not you're a Chelsea fan, whether or not you know the game like how we profess to know the game, whether or not you think you're an elite watcher of football or your analysis is up there. If you're just a basic person watching the sport for the first time, you're watching this game and you would think that Reece James is the best player on the pitch because that's who he was today. He was the best player on the pitch. Offense, defense, the middle third, transition, every portion of the game today, he was a 10 out of 10 for me. And so that was my first takeaway of the game. It was more than refreshing to see how my captain can just demand that presence on the pitch. And that's all we've been asking. I feel like for Chelsea fans for the last 2-3 years, this is all we've wanted to see. Just Reece get a run of form and a run of health. And we know that if the health is there, the form is there because today's performance showed you that he can play anywhere on the pitch. And, I've been on this podcast multiple times and I've said it. I hate Reece James in the midfield. I've said it multiple times on here, but today he shut me up. Maresca shut me up. He showed me that he could be more than a right back. He showed me that he could be one of those players that, can be, and he was like Joshua Kimmich today. We always talk about Kimmich being one of those like best players in the world, whether he's playing in center back or the midfield. That's who Reece James reminded me of today, and, we'll talk about Kimmich here in a little bit, but Reece James, man, the performance that he put in today was just so inspiring. And it's frustrating that we only got away with, that we only left with 1 point today, because my second point is that I think his substitutions ruined the match for us. I don't want to say ruined the match. That's a little harsh, but I think his substitutions were a little rash. I think he panicked. He didn't really know what to do. I think taking off Esteval, who, he had his ups and downs. As a Chelsea supporter, you kind of have to be there with Esteval's ups and downs. He played all right. I feel like he had a few chances where it should have been on frame, but at the end of the day, you have to give that kid just the space and the time to make those mistakes. But also you have to give him the space and the time to get into the game, because I think towards the end of that first half, he started to show a little bit more spunk. He started to show that he could calm down a little bit more, pass the ball, link up, make the smarter decision rather than just looking to be aggressive and shooting on net. And for him to come off at the half and then for João Pedro to get hooked for Liam Delap, who the one mistake he made when he came on led to the Arsenal goal. And in a match like this, when you're down a man, you need to keep possession. And you took off two players in Esteval and João Pedro, who are Brazilian and who I think on our team are one of the best in keeping possession of the ball, for two, I would consider lower IQ players in Garnacho and Liam Delap. And it showed, man. The one mistake Delap made, Arsenal quickly transitioned the ball to the right side, gets the ball on the touchline, and then they make a cross and well done by Marino to get the goal. But that's what happens, man. We talk about this all the time, just the margins in football. When you make mistakes against elite teams, they will punish you. They will punish you, man. And it's frustrating to be here 1-1 where I texted Mike during the match. I said, bro, we're going to win this game. And literally 5 minutes later, Delap gets subbed on. And, 5 minutes after that, he makes a mistake in losing, not containing the ball, giving the ball away, which allows Arsenal to quickly transition. And kudos to Arsenal. They were up a man for an hour today. And for most of that hour, they didn't look like it. But elite teams are going to punish you when you make a mistake, especially if you make a mistake in the back or in the middle of the pitch. And so for me, those were my 2 points for the match. I know I went a little bit over, but it's frustrating. This is a match that I fully believed, even when we went down a man, that we still had control of and that we still could get the 3 points. And like I said last week, I was so ready to check Arsenal off my list, because I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it once. I'm going to say it twice. I'm going to say it thrice. It ain't sweet when you come to the bridge. That's for any team out there. Barcelona, we going to talk
Let
about
them
you a
know.
little bit. But it ain't sweet when you come to the bridge, bro. And all those Arsenal supporters who were talking, keep talking, because we're going to go to the Emirates with this same energy. this same energy. And I feel like we're going to continue. And this was one of the matches where I feel like this was a statement match for us. This was a statement match for Chelsea. This shows the league that, sure, we're not in second place anymore. We're, City jumped us on the table because we didn't get 3 today. But this goes to show we ain't backing down to nobody. This was a huge, huge match for Chelsea. I wish I could be a little bit happier, but I'm just going to stay even keeled because I feel like this is a match that is going to define our season. I think the boys gave everything, to be honest. I think the boys played well. And for me, when you come to the bridge, I'm just letting you know it ain't sweet, fam.
It ain't. You're right. I think you made all the key points. I don't want to repeat, half of the things you just said because I do believe I agree with you on most of the points you made. Yeah, like you said, Reece James was easily the best player on the field. Arsenal today, I want to give them the credit for showing the championship spirit, right? Going down and finding the way back, to get a point. But overall, I think the Chelsea boys, we should be proud of this performance. I think we were down a man and still giving Arsenal problems. I'm sorry. However, Arsenal fans want to look at this. You got a point. You were down to 10-man Chelsea. Let's be for real. You had to catch up to us. You came in claiming to be one of the best teams in Europe. That's fine. I think you can earn that. You've earned that. Right to talk that smack about being the best. Team in Europe. But hey, you were down to 10-man Chelsea. Let's be for real. You had to catch up in the game. And it wasn't like majority of the time, we were, behind trying to catch up to you. The game was balanced for the most part, even with us being a man down. So I think for me, it's a positive result. I think it's a great performance. What people forget that we have the youngest team in Europe. This team is about 23 and a half years old. But that's good. This is telling me that we're improving. This is telling me that this team ain't young anymore. This is not a young squad anymore. now we're getting in positions where we can't make excuses for not showing up. I mean, you showed up big midweek, showed up big against Arsenal, gave them all you can. But like you said, I don't want to touch on Caicedo's, red card because from the jump, he was very aggressive, which I love. I would never, ever, ever tell him not to be. But, you got to be smart about it. They talked about, us having 7 red cards in the last 15 games. Yeah, that's what comes with young teams. We're learning, but it's not acceptable. Obviously, there's something going on that we need to pay attention to. But yeah, to me it seems like the manager's letting them play freely, so that's fine. But we still got to be responsible. We can't keep doing this because then half of the time we're on the back foot. Fighting against other teams who have 11 men. We shouldn't have to put in ourselves in positions where we have to handicap ourselves. With one player down. But overall, great performance by everybody. I think I don't have any complaints, really. I would have loved to see Enzo do a little bit more, but it's unfair to me knowing that, he has to run that midfield. But overall, I think I'm happy with the performance. Arsenal is only 5 points, 7 points ahead of City, 5 points behind. I'm not tripping. Right. I like the position we're in. You don't win the Premier League in November, so we've seen this before, man. You've been around here, so let's hope that this time is different.
I don't want to take up too much time. I just was listening, and I just wanted to pop in. Gabriel, I know you're about to go.
Welcome, brother.
Thanks, man. I miss y'all. And great episode last week. I just wanted to say this, though, real quick. I'm sure we'll talk about it at some point in the group chat, but Cornelius and Mike, why is it always like this? Why is it always like We were in the game. Now I get why Gabriel be talking about these little moral victories. You know, these little. We were down a man. We still fought. We still hung in there.
That's not the energy we came with, and you know it. That's not the energy we came with.
I've been listening today and this whole season. And it's not just this game, the United game. There have been other games like that. You guys shoot yourselves in the foot. Why ultimately is why I just don't think that you guys are really in the mix. But you guys did fight, which was good. But yeah, I can't wait till we do our rest of the season predictions. Gabriel, might be your year, brother.
I mean,
I'll let Gabriel go. I was going to say,
because,
do you have anything to say about United?
Huh?
Do you have anything to say about United before Gabriel goes?
Oh yeah, I'm him out. Yeah, get him out. Absolute waste, man. Just get him out. I did want to shout out though, real quick. I don't know if you guys talked about United though, but for Joshua Zirkzee to come in and to get the goal, considering he's only played, I guess 180 minutes so far this season. Shout out to him. Even though the manager tries to handicap you and the team, here you are. Last thing I want to say before I get out of here is he needs to accumulate as many points as he can because AFCON's around the corner, and Ahmad and Mbeumo won't be here to bail you out anymore. So, I'm him out. Peace, y'all.
Wait, please, man. Arsenal, Chelsea. I agree with Selam on what he just said too. These moral victories, these moral wins, man. I look at this match as, yes, I do think that we stole a point today. For sure. It was you guys dropped the 2 points and we got a point today. I solely believe that. I fully believe that. Won't even try to lie about it. But when Selam talks about these moral victories, bro, like Saliba and Gabriel now in the starting lineup. Okay. Really still working with a makeshift striker, all of these things. And even with all of these things going on, no Odegaard to start, no Gyökeres. They came off the bench. Good to see them back. Both of our center backs are completely out. Playing with a whole new back line. Even with all of these things, I'm still so upset about the performance that we put out today. The performance that we put out today was so poor. This was one of the worst 90-minute performances I've seen by my team in a long time. Probably say close to a year, if I'm being completely honest. This was easily one of our worst 90 minutes. Mosquera and Capier, I love you both, but you guys aren't ready yet. No way. And I know this is a tough match to be thrown into and to start, but they need some time to grow. Because in Capier especially, bro, your performance was not great. It was very questionable to me. You almost gave up a goal to João Pedro. If he was better, he would have scored. If he was better in that moment, he had a better touch, he would have scored. He gave up the foul that led to you guys' free kick, which ultimately led to your corner kick, which you scored off of first thing in the half. So many times, when we expect our center back to get the ball, scan the field, bring the ball down and play out of these tight situations, you're just booting the ball up the pitch and re-inviting the pressure. And I'm not even saying just in Capier, but Mosquera too at moments where it's like you're holding on to the ball for 10 seconds 10 dribbles before you make the simple pass that was right in front of you the whole time. Just these things where it's not the worst performance in the world. At the end of the day, you got us a point and you're a big factor in that. And this was a tough match to come into, but it just shows me that you guys aren't ready. Zubamendi, the yellow in the first half, unnecessary. So many unnecessary fouls that we had in the first half that led to yellows. When you saw what was it, Zubamendi in the first 3 minutes? I think it was the first yellow card was Zubamendi. When he got that yellow card, obviously you see from the ref that, hey, he's not on the top of time. If you commit one of these fouls, he's going to give it to you no matter if it's 5 minutes in or 90 minutes in. We continue to make the same of Scott fouls. Mosquera 7 minutes after that. Fiore. Like, come on, guys. Come on. We're so much better than this. And I understand it's a hostile environment. I understand that, it's not going to be an easy match, but make it easier on yourselves by playing simple, doing the simple things. And we just lacked in so many phases of the game today. So many phases of the game. It was a disappointing performance. Especially after the week that we've had. It was tough to see our team really not travel too far and not put in a performance. I understand with Nkapia and Mosquera, I think they contributed a large amount of that because there was unsettled. There was our back line was just very unsettled, very, very unsettled. And you can tell that Zubimendi wasn't as comfortable. Rice wasn't as comfortable. I'm not gonna lie, Timber played great to me. I have no complaints about Timber. But you could tell that our team wasn't as comfortable. Even Raya was just booting the ball way more than I've seen him boot the ball over the past, over this entire season. So for me, I'm just truly, truly disappointed in the total 90-minute performance. Now, yes, we were able to capitalize on mistake. Saka, well done. Moreno, again, I can't speak enough about you. Well done. But to get the goal, to get scored on being down 10 men, with Chelsea down to 10 men, told me the type of day that we were having. For us to go and score showed us the type of mentality and the perseverance that we have. But for us not to win shows me that we still don't have a killer. We need to win that. And I talked about this last week. I would love 9 points out of this week. I would love it. And we had an opportunity to go and get 9 points out of this week. But the Bayern game is not what I was focused on. I was focused on Chelsea. Why? Because we can extend this gap to 7 points. 7 points. And we have an easier schedule ahead of us, at least for the next couple of weeks. So all in all, we still got 7 points. They passed the test. Sure. But 10 men Chelsea, for us still to not dominate and find our groove at any points in the match. I mean, it's the 85th minute and Chelsea's somewhat holding possession. Like, that shouldn't be happening, bro. It shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't. I don't care about against any team, bro. It should not be happening. I don't care if it's Bayern, Madrid, Barca. I do not care, bro. We're up a man. We are way too good to be letting teams hold possession in the 85th minute, bro. We should know how important these points are. So at the end of the day, I'm truly just disappointed with our performance. It would have been a great opportunity to get an even bigger lead earlier in the season, especially while we're missing players. That would have shown so much to me. And the fact that we were even able to get a point, like I said, good job. Don't drop points at least. Let's not drop points. Not down 10 men. Let's not drop points. But we got to draw. We move. And for me, like I said this in the group chat, I'll say this on camera. I fully believe that we get 4 points from Chelsea over 2 matches this year. So if we get 1 point to start, I'm okay with that. Away from home, I'm okay with that. At the Emirates, we need a dub. You guys say it's not sweet at the bridge. Cool. I have the same type of energy at the Emirates. Same type of energy. And hopefully by that point, we will have our mainstay 2 center backs, or at least one of them, so our back line isn't so unsettled. But that's really all I have to say. Saka, even though he didn't have a great day, got a GA. No complaints. Moreno, once again, fantastic. David Raya, good. And honestly, my man of the match on the Arsenal side for me is Timber. Timber had a fantastic match. Can't really say he did too much. Can't really say he did too much wrong. He really didn't do much wrong at all. So obviously, I think, like you guys said, Reece James is the man of the match. He had an unbelievable match. Really, really bossed the midfield today. I won't even lie. Definitely did, especially in Caicedo's absence as well. But yeah, no, I'm just upset by our performance, really. And it's not an L, but we move. Tough team, we move, and I fully expect us to go into our next Premier League match with 3 points and hopefully get some health back. I'm not worried about y'all. I'll continue to say this. I'm not. You guys are focused on us and this is a good performance. Yeah, I understand it. I get it, but I'm not even. Nah,
I don't understand the ignorance because
it's not even.
You guys haven't worn anything to.
That's Mike.
To
that's
be having
fine.
this energy. I get it. You're on top of the league, but
not even
you
that.
still haven't done anything recently.
Our team is better than yours, so I expect us to get 3 points when you guys are down to 10 men. That's just where I'm coming from, especially with the players that we were able to bring on as well. I fully believe that we should have gone and gotten 3 points.
We should have.
Say on paper.
Okay.
Say my team is better than yours on paper, because for me, this
on paper right now, my team is better than yours. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
But clearly, you guys aren't better than us on the pitch, and that's what today showed me.
We haven't lost you guys in how many years now? We are better than you on the pitch. So it's like,
we could do revisionist history. That's fine.
Past results does not hold for
but
this.
that's what I'm
sorry.
this is what I'm saying. Against 10 men Chelsea, we should be getting a result, regardless. And not even doesn't have to be Chelsea. Like I said, it could be a Munich, it can be a City, it can be whoever. We should be getting 3 points. Simple as that.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, I said it at the beginning of the year. I believe this Chelsea team is a top 3, top 4 team in the world. I said that in the beginning. Looking at our roster, this is before I even knew that Cole Palmer wouldn't have been out. And this is going to be my last comments on the match, because I thought that Mike was going to talk about it. But during the match, I fully believe that had we had 11 men, had the score been tied, Cole Palmer would have seen the last 10 to 15 minutes of this match. And unfortunately, that's not the way it went, because, all week we've been looking at Cole Palmer. He potentially could start this match. Cole Palmer, he'll be ready to come back after his toe injury, and I didn't want Cole to start. This wasn't the match for him to start, but I fully thought that we would see a 10, 15-minute cameo at the end, had this still been a tied game, had we been 11v11. And the fact that we didn't see him is, I think, it's good. It shows me that Maresca is protecting the players, which I can never disagree with. You always have to protect your players. You don't want to rush him into an environment where he could potentially get injured again. He still has that lingering groin injury, which we still don't know how good he is. But for me, I think that, you talk about the moral victories. I think as a Chelsea supporter, I don't really take that as a slight, because this is still a new team for us. This is still a very young team for us. Granted, we've had, about a year and a half with the core players, but we're bringing in new guys every day, and we're a young team, like Mike said. So for me, it's just frustrating we weren't able to potentially see what could have been, but this is like I said, this is going to be a nexus point for us. This is going to be one of those matches that definitely defines our season and who we think we are and who we want to be. And for me, if this is the new standard, I think this is the Chelsea that me and Mike have been hoping that we could reclaim and talk about as a real Stamford Bridge Chelsea club. Like I said, this team showed everything today. Down a man, we were still able to basically, I wouldn't say play Arsenal off the park, but we control the match today. And for me, that's all I can ever ask. When you come to the Bridge, you control the tempo of the match, you control the match itself. And shout out to our supporters who definitely helped us in our time of need. But shout out to the boys on the pitch. I think this was a great performance on both ends. Arsenal as well. I don't want to go without saying that Arsenal played a great 90 minutes for the fact that they were able to equalize and get out of there with a point. So this is definitely one that we'll be talking about, for a couple weeks to come. But get off the Premier League a little bit and go to, general Europe. I do want to touch on some of the Champions League matches that we had last week that, we thought would be the marquee matches. Since Mike isn't here right now, let's talk about our Arsenal versus Bayern. I said it last week. I said these are the two best teams in Europe. You know, they were 1 and 2 on the UCL table, that Champions League table. And this was definitely one of the matches that I think we've all had circled on our calendars ever since the pots and the teams had been drawn on who was going to play who. Arsenal showing their dominance, man, just showing that this is a team that, again, they're going to be the team to beat. And Bayern, who we've said all year that who's going to be able to stop this team, they ran into an Arsenal who is playing great right now. 3-1 to Arsenal. Gabriel, how does that, I know you said earlier that Bayern match wasn't the one you were worried about, but it's got to feel good to beat a Bayern team that's, been arguably one of the best in the world to start this year.
Sorry, I didn't know it was muted. Yeah, honestly, like I said last week, we had smoke with Bayern. I have personal smoke with Bayern. They've embarrassed us in the past, especially in the Champions League. So for us to get a 3-1 win, dominated, like I said, I had no complaints whatsoever. Shout out my boy Tommy Belansky, he was at the match. He FaceTimed me at full time. It was pretty dope just to see what it was like over there. But no, I think we had a great performance. I think everyone was up for that match. Champions League nights, you really can't beat it. There's an interview that came out where Eze was saying, the first Champions League match, he really wasn't focused. He was caught up in the song and this and the third because, it's the Champions League. But, he said moving forward, he's going to be a lot more focused now that he's been through it. And, he got an assist that match. So it was good to see our team perform like that, especially at home. Top-notch performance from really everyone on the pitch. Obviously, it was really, really unfortunate to see Trossard get hurt. I think we missed him a whole bunch today, especially. But, like I said, I just want to see my team get back to full health. And like I said, I really wasn't worried about this game too much. Whatever the result was, as long as we didn't drop points or have a bad performance, I was happy with. So it was definitely great to beat, one of Europe's top teams this past week. So yeah, it was cool. The last thing I want to comment on is just Joshua Kimmich. I don't know if you guys saw his post-game interview, but yeah, he had a lot to say, talking a little bit of trash about how we just play long balls and this and the third. And
I think the stat came out that showed that they had like 5 more long balls than you guys.
Yeah. I understand, you can be a little bit salty about the result, but bro, we played you out the park. Let's not even try to compare it, bro. We played you out the park. Our team was much, much better than yours on all phases of the match. Yes, you had your moments, but we neutralized Kane, didn't do a thing. Olise was neutralized, didn't really do much. And funny enough, your guys' only ball came off of a long ball from you. A great ball. Peach perfect. Can't take anything away from you at that, but you're dead wrong. And you just got played out the park. So I'm sure we'll see you again in Champions League, and I think we'll take care of business again. Just to let you know. But yeah, no. I'm very happy with our performance. They scored off a moment of brilliance, and that was that.
Yeah. To echo the same sentiment, we played Barcelona midweek as well in the Champions League, and it was interesting because going into the match, we were both sitting on 7 points, and the announcers were saying, with only 8 group stage matches, this is match 5. Both teams sitting on 7 points. If either team were to win this match, this would propel them into the top 8, who get an automatic bid to the next round of the Champions League round, or stage here. But also sitting on 7 points with 5 matches in, you only have 9 more points to gain. So it pushes you into that middle group where you're going to have to go and play another head-to-head match with a team, but you may not make it, based on how everyone else is starting to do. So this was a big match for Chelsea. The last time we beat Barcelona outright was 2012, which, luckily for us, we went on to win the Champions League that year. But since then, it's been very, very tough. 2015, 2016, it was tough to see them. And I feel like we have a whole new team. We have a whole new manager. We have a whole new ownership group. So I'm not sure exactly how much of the history they know, but this is a team that we've had history with. And people have been talking about this Barcelona team. Just like Gabriel said, we kind of played them off the park. 3 goals, clean sheet on our end. And the way that we even scored our goals, Esteval with a moment of brilliance, Reece James getting an assist. We kind of scored multiple ways in that game. It was a great start to the week for Chelsea, and not to talk too much about it, but this is what I've been saying, man. This is why I said what I said in the summer. I've been wanting to see the top teams in the world. After we had our Conference League championship and our great summer where we got, a win against one of the best teams in the world, PSG, that showed me that Chelsea is ready to take the next step. And what this week shows me is that we were ready to take the next step. So for Chelsea to get the 3-0 win against Barcelona was massive for us. And it just reinforced what I've thought this entire year, that there is no more hiding. There's no more hiding for this Chelsea team. I know we talked about how we're the youngest team in, the Premier League at 23 and a half years, and how, we have all these young players who are just now starting to get favored in the side. But at the end of the day, football is football. If you're good enough, you play. You play your best 11 every week in, week out. And no matter how old or young you are on the pitch, if you're able to play, you play. And we played Barcelona off the park. And for me, that just shows that this Chelsea team is ready to take that next step. Again, I think we need to tighten the screws when it comes to discipline. Obviously, in the league, we've had multiple red cards. In Europe, we've also had multiple red cards. So I think that there are areas of improvement that we need to hone in on. But when it comes to your 11 versus my 11, I'm ready to see any 11 in the world. Whoever. Madrid, I want you next. Bayern, I want my lick back. That 3-1 win that you guys got week 1 of Champions League, you don't want to see us again. I know you don't want to see us again, because we got vested interest to beat you guys that next time around. So it was great to see this win. Mike, I didn't really talk too much about the match. I was just saying 3-0 against Barca. That's exactly where I want to be.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, what a midweek performance by the squad. I mean, I couldn't ask for more. This is the intensity. This is the level that we've been asking for. Like I was saying last weekend, Champions League nights at the Bridge is different. Like when it comes to these games, traditionally we live for these games. These are the games that I feel like we want to be playing in, week out, right? This is our competition that we enjoy playing in. Historically, we have beef with, Barca. So naturally, we were going to come full strength with this game. And tactics, 10 out of 10. Substitutions, 10 out of 10. From the keeper all the way to the striker, no complaints. Everybody was where they were supposed to be. Everybody gave up their all. And, I mean, it's a performance that you can be proud of. Like Cornelia said, this team is ready to compete. We're ready to compete. We're showing it in all facets of the game, in all competitions we're in this season. The biggest one, obviously, is the Prem. But I think I'm confident. I think we can get to finals in, one of these other competitions, either the Champions League, Carabao, or FA Cup. I like our chances. I think this team has showed me enough that they're ready to compete. They're hungry for more trophies, more titles. And what can you say, man? Beating Barcelona 3-0, Cucurella's performance against Lamine Yamal, can't ask for more.
Fair enough. Short and sweet. Like it. A few other games I wanted to talk about because, there were big marquee matches in the Champions League. This week 5 has some matches, man. Like, I don't know if y'all really looked at the slate and the scores on some of these, but week 5 had some big matches. One I want to talk about, Liverpool did get back on their winning ways this weekend, but big loss at home to PSV. They lost 4-1 in the midweek. I don't know if we want to harp on that game just because they were able to get a GRG today, but is Liverpool going to make it into Europe next stage?
I don't trust them.
That's a good question.
I don't trust them, bro.
I mean, with the way the season's been going, is it even in their best interest to make it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, they're a top team. You want to be in these competitions, but I mean, are they going to make it far? I mean, what is it? I mean, I would rather it's crazy to say. I'm not going to say that, it makes sense to sabotage, the Champions League. No, don't do that. But to me, I would rather put a lot of my energy into the Prem, because if you're eliminated out of the Champions League this season and you don't make top 4, you're out in both competitions. So you might as well start, maybe taking the league a little bit more serious. I would say that. But for Liverpool, I mean, PSV coming to Anfield, were they at Anfield? Yeah, coming to Anfield and, man, giving you 4 on your home turf. I don't know. Liverpool and PSV on paper are not close. It's not even close in terms of the talent level and just pure, wages. Wages doesn't define a player. But, if we want to be critical, right, they're not close. And to take a 4-1 beating, it's embarrassing. And for me, you needed a West Ham on your schedule. All right. So West Ham came at the right time for them. But this PSV loss, it's not good. That's why I was saying that, hey, I don't trust these guys until I see it. I just don't trust anything now. I mean, West Ham has just been bad. So I would give you that. Yeah, they're on your schedule. You got to play them. And I'm sure you're so grateful they were on your schedule. But that loss said a lot to me. I thought there was no way. I mean, we talked about it on this pod right here. We were like, yeah, there's no way. There's no way. PSV beats them, and they did. So I don't know. I think I would be more worried about that PSV loss than this West Ham win. I would say that.
I 100% nail on the head. I agree with that, Mike. PSV is. Let's go next team, man.
As a Liverpool, you shouldn't be losing to PSV. I don't care what the scenario or the circumstances are, especially at home.
At home?
Yeah.
You guys are cooked, man.
Yeah. I'm sure they're happy West Ham was on their schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Atleti 2-1 win over Inter Milan. Jimenez with a goal in the 94th minute or something like that to get that win. Atletico Madrid, this is a team that we always see in the Champions League near the top, but never really with enough to keep going to the later stages of the knockout rounds. But this year, do we feel a little different about them?
No.
And
maybe I'm biased because we smacked them up in the Champions League, but no. Like, we manhandled them. I don't know. They're not like that. They're not like that right now.
Currently, they are in 12th place, 1 spot above Liverpool, and they beat Inter Milan, who dropped down to 4th place after last week's matches. So, I mean, big win for them, but you still don't think they have enough?
I just don't trust them.
They'll make the playoff. They'll make a playoff. Hopefully, they get a good draw. They get past the draw. Maybe if they get another good draw during the round of 16, cool. But I don't see them going past the round of 8, a quarter.
Yeah.
I don't even see them getting there really. So.
Yeah. Fair enough. And then probably the most goals this weekend, PSG versus Tottenham. PSG won 5-3 at home against this Spurs team. For me, it was a little bit more shocking that PSG got scored on 3 times. We know that this PSG team is going to win especially at home. They have too many good players, especially in their front three, front four. But Tottenham being able to get 3 goals, is that a little bit eye-opening for this PSG team? You know, looking at that defense, they have world-class players back there, but the Spurs team was able to kind of break them down. So do we think that's something that they should keep an eye out for as they, you know, advance later in this European stage and even in their league?
Yeah, definitely. It's concerning to concede 3 from Spurs, but I would also like to say Spurs is not a bad team. They have some talent that can, you know, put the ball behind the net. But Thomas Frank's team is reeling, man. They're not winning games anymore like they were at the beginning of the season. So for me, that's more of my angle. That's what I'm looking at. The wins are not coming for Tottenham. The wins are just not coming. And
I don't know why.
why?
Kudus hasn't been playing.
True. I mean, he did
I'm
play this
telling you,
past
dude.
weekend, and he scored the only goal. But yeah, this Tottenham squad, man, they're not as good as I thought they would be. They did make some great signings in the offseason that I thought were going to change, you know, the trajectory of this team. But getting into the thick of things in the middle of the season, they seem to be declining in areas where you feel like they should be, you know, ascending, and you know everybody was finally showing why they were brought in. But I'm not impressed, man. Like you said, I'm more surprised they scored 3 on PSG.
Yeah.
PSG should be worried. They should make some changes. But then again, this is the second time they've seen each other. They saw each other in the Super Cup. So there is some type of, you know, a little beef there, if you want to call it that. But so I can see why, you know, it is as high scoring as it was. But then again, I'm like, giving Tottenham 3, I don't know. But they showed their class in the end, so I guess it doesn't matter. But I'm more concerned about Tottenham than PSG conceding those goals.
In the last game I want to touch on, I don't really want to touch on the game, but I do want to touch on Madrid for a second because, you know, Madrid beat Olympiacos 4-3, Mbappe with 4 goals. That takes his tally on the year in the Champions League to 9 goals in 5 matches. And then in La Liga, he's sitting with 14 goals and 3 assists in 13 matches. I just want to talk about Mbappe because we talked about Harry Kane and how he's scoring at will, but Mbappe is literally scoring at this is the best I've seen Mbappe since he's been on Madrid, but definitely in the last 3 years. I think this is the best we've seen Mbappe, and you know, him doing this right before the World Cup is scary. It's very, very scary. But Mbappe, man, he was going to be one of my shout outs. He's going crazy right now. How do we feel about this Madrid team?
A lot of turmoil, a lot of noise. That's the theme for them this year. I feel like there's just a lot of noise around this team, and if they can quiet down the noise, I think they could have a great season. But there's too much noise. I don't know if it's a Vini thing or it's just they're just not getting along with Xabi Alonso or what. But somebody's got to go. I don't know who, but if it was up to me, it'll probably be Vinny. I don't think this team needs Vinny for real. I really don't. But yeah, speaking of Mbappe, I think, you know, this is probably us just becoming normalized to what he does. Because last season, everybody was concerned. At the end of the season, he ended up having a great year. Nobody talked about it. Nobody batted an eye. It's almost become a norm. The numbers you just, you know, said out loud, I'm just like, wait, does this sound right?
It sounds crazy, don't it, bro? 9 goals in 5 matches in the
Nobody's
Champions
talking
League,
though. It's
13 and
crazy.
3, 14 and 3 in the league.
That's
Scoring at
wild.
will.
We're not even halfway yet. And you already have halfway into the season numbers. And it's funny to me nobody's talking about it though. It's because we become so normalized to it. What
Where-
Mbappe does.
If Vinny leaves, where do you think he goes? I don't even think he leaves. But where could you?
I'll
see
say City. I can see him going to City. But is it a good fit for him? I wouldn't say so, but I could see him going to City. Other than that, I haven't really thought too deep into it of where he would really be a good fit. But I personally think it's time. Pack him up.
I don't know, man. Do we think he comes to the Prem? Is that what you're saying? If he leaves La Liga,
Just goes to the
sure.
Prem. He's only
For
going to
sure.
you guys in City.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even really want Vinny, to be honest.
I don't like his style of play, to be honest.
Yeah, not for what we're building right now. I don't think he would be the best fit, but yeah, I don't know. That's tough. I've never really thought about it either, but I could see him maybe going to I could see him going to like a PSG. I could just see him doing it because he's not going to leave Madrid and go to a not top club in the world.
Absolutely.
I don't think he fits at Bayern. The Prem, I don't think fits him either. I don't know.
PSG for sure. Yeah, I can see that. They have the money too. He's gonna want money as well.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
He's gonna want a bag. So it's only really a couple teams you can play for. You guys, City, PSG, and the only other team maybe is Barca. He's never going there, or Madrid. I mean, I don't think he's going to Munich. They don't need him.
I could see him if he went to Italy. I could see him maybe going to like a Juve, just so he could be the guy, historic club, kind of do what Ronaldo did. You know, Ronaldo left and went to Juve, kind of try to do it over there. I could see him maybe doing that, but I don't know.
Nah, I don't see Italy moving his future at all. What? Italy? All the racist abuse he gets in Spain, you think he's gonna go?
Oh yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Definitely not wrong.
Bro, nah.
That's a great point.
I can never see Vinny in Italy. That's just one I personally can't see.
That's actually a great point.
He's either going to Chelsea, City, PSG, or staying at Madrid. Those are the only team. We want Rodrigo. We're trying to get the cheaper option. I don't see it. I don't see him leaving. I think that he's gonna have to. Yeah, I honestly can see him at City. Peppa snatch him up.
Fair enough. Before we get into our predictions, how we do on our locks?
Man, not a great week. 1-3. Yeah. Not a great week. Selam's lock hit. Honestly, I thought Holland was.
I lock it. I had Villa money.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah.
Even money.
Yeah.
Great week, guys. Hey, even with us. Completely changed my tone. I had a Holland goal this week because they played Leeds and fully expecting him to get his 100th goal. You know, he's waiting to get his 100th goal, the quickest player to get his 100th goal. I think he's sitting on like 103 games right now, or 104. I think the next person is like 129 matches or appearances or something like that.
Those numbers are just ridiculous.
Sitting on like 99 goals right now. So I thought it was going to come this weekend, but yeah, it didn't happen. So guess we'll have to wait and see on that one. But
yeah, I went Crystal Palace money line. I thought it was set up, you know. But I was wrong.
Yeah, no.
Last 2 weeks, man, my locks haven't hit the last 2 weeks. I gotta get back on my West Ham train, man.
Yeah, no, seriously, West Ham, and every week someone picks on Wolves.
I had to do it this week.
And like I said, I said this on the pod multiple times. I don't know if Wolves gets a win until 2026. So serious. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. The one time I really thought
they need a miracle,
bro. They need. It's so crazy because even after they get the win, it's like, bro, you realize you have to play like this every match to even have a chance to get a win. So it's like, yeah, man. That team is. I think, bro, we might see the fastest relegated team in the Prem ever. We may see the lowest point total in the Prem. I don't know where their wins are going to come from, bro.
No, I agree with you.
They don't have a win, and it's about to be it's March 30th, bro. It's about to be December.
Bro, you know what's sad? Even if they get a win, they're so deep, it doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter, bro.
Your wins are just not even gonna matter.
Now. They're contingency planning right now. They know they're going down, bro.
Yeah,
they know it. There's no way you come back from this, because even on top of that, the teams in front of you sitting on 10 and 11 points, 11 and 12 points, they also have to lose or not pick up points, and somehow they're picking up points. Yeah. You guys aren't better than West Ham. No. You guys aren't better than Nottingham Forest. You guys aren't even better than Burnley
or Leeds.
You're not better than any of them, and those are the weaker sides of the Prem. So I really don't know where their points are going to come from, bro. I think this is historic. They're on a historic run right now. On the opposite side of history, they're really on a historic run. I really don't know where they're going to get a win, Mike.
No,
I look, you want to put a bet when if they get a win in 20. I don't know if they get a win in 2025, bro. I'm so serious.
Nah, they don't.
I don't see where they're going to get a win.
Bro, they haven't gotten a win since August. They're more likely to not get a win in the next 30 days. I'm confident they don't get a win in the next 30 days.
Their upcoming matches.
It's the Prem, though. You know,
their upcoming matches are for the rest of the year. They're Wolves at home against Nottingham Forest on Wednesday.
There's a chance there.
There's a chance, but bro, this is what I'm saying. This is one of their only chances.
Postecoglou's no longer there.
They play December 8th. They play United at home. I don't know if you're beating United. This Saturday, December 13th, they play us at the Emirates. Yeah. You're definitely cooked. They play Wolves at home, or they play Brentford at home the week after that. I don't know if you beat Brentford. They play Liverpool at Anfield.
Hey,
after that, stop, Mike. Let's relax.
We're not doing that.
We're not going to do that. And then they play United at Old Trafford right before New Year's. There are maybe two matches where I'm looking like you may sneak, and that's Nottingham Forest, and that's Brentford.
Is there anywhere we can put a bet in for that?
If they get a win,
that they don't get a win for the rest of 2024.
We're gonna put a poll up to the people tomorrow. That's what we'll do. We'll put a poll up to the people and see what the people think. I really don't know. They may be able to sneak one out, maybe one, but
I can fluke maybe last minute goal.
Yeah, like they would have to. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, we got to put this out. See what people think.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, man. And and shout out to everyone that has been commenting, has been liking the post, sharing with your friends. I think we got our first post on Instagram with over 100 comments. I believe it was the post where we predicted the Chelsea versus Barcelona match. You know, we do see all of the comments, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. We really do appreciate it. It makes it more fun, you know, because we come on here and we talk every Sunday, but we really want to know what you guys think. We want to know how you guys feel about these matches, just how we talking about it. We know that you guys are talking about these things too. So it's definitely good, and it's a whole lot of fun to see the banter, the back and forth on the post. So shout out to everyone that's been showing us love there too. It's been a good week. It's definitely been a good week
for sure.
Mm-hmm. Any shout outs before we get out of here?
I only have one shout out. Make it quick. Shout out Mikel Moreno. Bro, I cannot speak highly enough about this guy. First, he takes the hit for Caicedo to get a red. Thank you. But on top of that, you know, once again, coming up for us in clutch moments, bro. super clutch for us. Our makeshift striker, still quietly since all of 2025 scoring goals, and being worth the 60 million that we paid for him, because honestly I didn't see where we're getting our worth with him in the midfield when we first brought him in. But obviously the role that we have him playing now is working, and he's more than, for me, honestly, he's more than lived up to his price tag. He not only showed me that he can adapt, but he really is extremely technical. He's really good at reading the game and does a lot for us. So I just want to give a shout out to Moreno, man. That's my guy.
Yeah, my shout out goes to Robert Sanchez, man. Had some big saves today. He's been having it, like Cornelius talked about this either last episode or 2 episodes ago, but he's having a great season. And our problem with Sanchez is just boneheaded mistakes, really, at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like finally, we're not seeing those mistakes. And today, some great saves. I mean, I absolutely great saves that I personally believe if he doesn't get his hands on them, they're in. So big shout out to him.
Yeah, I already talked about Reece James. My love for that guy is it's boundless, bro. Just being able to see him on the pitch and just demand the respect from everyone on the pitch. It goes without saying that he's just one of those special players, bro. And the only thing that's ever held him back is his health. And we're finally seeing a good run of health from him. He's making the English national team call-ups. This is a big year for him. This is probably the biggest year in his career. He is the leader on our team, and it's a World Cup year. So just seeing him today was, it was so inspiring for real. So just wanted to shout him out again. Predictions, man. December is a lot of games. Mike, I was looking at it. I think we got 9 games in December in like 31 days. We're playing like 2 matches a week, which is kind of crazy. Some weeks we play 3. But yeah, predictions for this upcoming week. I know we have a midweek game. I forgot who is again, so let me check real quick. So Chelsea. We see Leeds on Wednesday at Leeds, and then we see Bournemouth at Bournemouth on Saturday. So 2 tough away matches.
Tough match.
Leeds, it's where they are on the table kind of speaks for itself. I think we can go and get 3 points away there. Bournemouth has been up and down, this season. So I think we get 6 points this week. I want to see Cole Palmer. If there's one thing, I do want to see a Cole Palmer start on Wednesday. I think this will be a good game to ease him back into the world of 90 minutes. So let's see how this goes. But I fully expect 6 points this week.
I'm with you. 6 points is the only acceptable result this week, especially going against Leeds, who are not doing so hot right now. Let's go take advantage of the position they're in. They came to compete with City, so it's not going to be sweet. We have to be ready to compete. This past week, they've showed me that they have that level of intensity. Please, let's not just do this when it's the big boys. I want to see it against these guys too. These smaller sides. So 6 points for me is the only acceptable result this week.
Fair. Yeah, we have a midweek match against Brentford this Wednesday. I fully expect us to get right. I fully expect us to get a win, especially it's at the Emirates. So yeah, we need 3 points. This should be in the bag for us. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind. I know I talked a lot about them today, but I don't even mind Mosquera and Capier starting just to get their feet under them in the Prem. I don't want to rush Gabriel back. I don't want to rush Saliba back. Calafiori in there will be there He'll be fine. So I won't even mind them starting just to get their feet under them in the Prem and just, against a side where we really should dominate possession. I do want them to get another start. And then we see Aston Villa over the weekend. I think this Sunday. It's at their place. It's going to be a tricky one. Aston Villa is quietly one of the best teams in form in the Prem right now. We haven't really talked about them much, especially here, but they're quietly third right now, chilling.
They're fourth. Yeah,
they're fourth. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
They're fourth right now, chilling. Saying I think on 24 points. This is not going to be an easy match at all. This is definitely not going to be an easy match, and we've also not had a great record against Unai Emery. Arteta hasn't since he's taken over, so this would definitely be a difficult match. But I can see us getting a 2-0 win and getting out of there. I still believe that we're a level above them on where teams are. Yes, they are in form, but getting a good result on that Wednesday, I think will push us over the hump against Aston Villa this upcoming or next weekend. So yeah, I expect 6 points from this week, just like you guys, man. We both of our teams understand that we have standards, and we both expressed that today. And our standards don't drop based on who we're playing. We keep our standards high no matter who we're playing. And you guys said, man, we all need 6 points this week. So
Yep. We forgot one more thing. I wanted to shout out Sunderland. What a huge comeback win this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Down 2-0 to Bournemouth. Bournemouth has been playing very well this year. And for them to storm back, win the game 3-2. I know Cornelius has a question a few weeks ago. How long would this Sunderland team hang around? Where do we expect them to finish? Can they get a European spot? I think we'll need to revisit again in the next couple of weeks to see where they are.
Bro, they keep
right
hanging
now,
around, bro. They just keep hanging around.
Exactly. They're hanging around. So I just wanted to bring it up.
speaking about Sunderland, they have an interesting next run of matches. Their 4 next matches are against Liverpool away, City away, this upcoming week, Newcastle at home, and then Brighton away. So from the 1st to the 20th. And Brighton has also been informed, if you have been paying attention. So Newcastle again, 1-4-1. Was it today? I think it was today or yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. 4-1. So these next 4 matches will tell me exactly where Sunderland are at. Exactly where you are.
I agree.
Because if you're able to start getting some results against these teams, if Sunderland somehow managed to get, let's say, like 7 points, if they manage to even get 7 points from this 4 matches, bro,
yeah,
I'm looking at them like you guys actually can get a European spot. I'm not even gonna lie. If they can get 7 points out of these matches, however they get them, bro, they win 1 match, 3 draws, or win 2 bro, that will show me, okay, I know where you're at. But they have to get some. They can't get 0 out of 12 points, or they can't just get 1 point from these next 4. They want to hang around. They're only playing in the Prem. They have to get some type of points from these matches. So, like I said, I'm excited for them and Liverpool on Wednesday. It'll be exciting.
True.
Yeah, man, I agree. This has been a fun week. Good holiday week of football. We're getting into the nitty gritty. Winter is coming here in December, but it's just gonna be a lot of fun. Again, MLS Championship next weekend. We got San Diego versus Vancouver. That's gonna be fireworks. Miami. I'm sorry, Miami versus Vancouver. It's gonna be fireworks for sure. It's just a lot coming down the pipeline. So I know you guys see this behind me. You're probably wondering what this is. Cleveland Crunch starting their season here in December as well. We got stuff coming down the pipeline for that. So just letting everybody know, stay tuned, man. Just because it's getting cold outside don't mean we're not heating up over here. So
Yeah.
keep in tune, keep commenting, keep liking, keep subscribing.
Keep your eyes out.
Patreon,
Yeah.
Patreon. We got locks of the week. I know we didn't do perfect this week, but we're getting back to where we should be. So please keep doing what y'all doing through all of our friends and supporters. We love seeing the engagement. We love seeing you guys with your takes. It's been a good week for us on the podcast end this year as well. But just want to say once again, thanks again for kicking it with us on the Kickback, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.